Hello and welcome to the latest presentation of the Rift Valley webinar series. My name is Martha Booker Johnson and I am the host for today's talk. If you are participating in the live webinar, you can submit questions or comments in the chat module of the Zoom application at any time during the presentation, or ask a voice question by raising your hand once the presentation is complete. Today's speaker is Makarius Itambu. Makarius is a research associate in the Department of Archaeology at the Max Planck Institute. He is interested in exploring and underscoring Pleistocene's hominin behaviors in relation to food procurement strategies during the time in question, stone tools manufacture, and the synergetic links between hominin environmental interactions, cognition abilities, and subsistence systems, and stone tool technological innovations. Please join me in welcoming Makarius as he gives his talk, A Contemporary View of Hunters and Gatherers' Environmental Niche and Adaptations Through an Under-Researched African Region.
Hello, everybody. My talk today will be about a contemporary view of hunter-foragers adaptation through under-researched African regions, a case from Singida region in the central Tanzania. I'm happy for the Rift Valley network organizers for giving me a second chance, because this will be my second talk with the Rift Valley network, to give my talk about our ongoing research in the Singida region. This is a new project that is ongoing. Initially, we had a view of studying the rock art, rock paintings of Singida region, central Tanzania, because this area was not so much researched. Only the Kondoa area, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, was well researched and known, but not the most of the Singida site were not known. So the aim of this research was to bridge the gap between the southern Tanzania highlands, Iringa areas, and the northern Tanzania areas, such as the area around the Old Gorge and Lake Eyes Basin. We started working in Singida not a long time. It's like 3 years ago when we started research with the University of Dar es Salaam students, whereby we were training them to undertake their field practicum in archaeology. So, next slide, please. No, I don't see. So, in the Singida region, central Tanzania, we found that this area is one of the strategic place or potential area, not only to study the rock art or rock painting, but also to understand the early human biocultural evolution and other issues uh, which are more relevant to the hunter-foragers transition from hunting and gathering to agropastoralism in recent days. The recent transition of hunting and gathering community to agropastoral economy has condensed in the last 5 years, and this is a major transformation of human socio-economic and cultural adaptive behaviors to a varied ecological niches of central Tanzania. You see the map of Singida in central Tanzania, that the location is like 200 meters away from the capital city of Tanzania, which is Dodoma. Dodoma and Singida forms the central Tanzanian zone. New archaeological research from this area have revealed that the area contains early Stone Age, Middle Stone Age period to the present time historical records. Our research discovered more than 50 stratified open air sites, rock shelters, and the rock art site. This area shows how much modern archaeological research can acquire from an area so far under-researched. And it is still possible in the 21st century to change the geographic narrative of archaeology by expanding research horizon by designing research jointly with the local community from that area. In Tanzania, whenever you talk about archaeology, most people will think about Olduvai Gorge in northern Tanzania because of the discovery of Zinja Atropus, which is known as Paranthropus boisei. Only most of the scholars or archaeology from all over the world knows mainly Olduvai when you talk about archaeology. But others, when you talk about Tanzania, people will talk more about Zanzibar. We'll talk about the Kilimanjaro, the highest peak in Africa. We'll talk about the Serengeti National Park, which is the largest national park in Africa. But now many few people actually knows much about the archaeology of Tanzania. So last year I was giving a talk about archaeology of Tanzania in German. I was showing this figure to the people. I say, oh, in Tanzania, uh, the country, but most people know Zanzibar and Serengeti and probably Kilimanjaro more than the country itself. So I was trying to show them the location of Tanzania and the significance of the area to the understanding of the human origin. And in this map here, I was trying to show the dots. This yellow dots in this map of Tanzania showing the areas which has received a lot of attention in terms of archaeological research. And most of these areas are found along the northern part of Tanzania toward the border between Tanzania and Kenya. And the other few sites are found in Tanzania, southern Tanzania highlands in areas like Iringa. So in central Tanzania, and this is star in the middle here, you see a big gap and not so much research in the area until recently was ignored by previous researcher, maybe probably because of zonation biases or the earlier records by colonials were focused on the architectural monument of the coastal areas of Tanzania and the fossil-bearing site of the northern Tanzania. So until recently, Singida region was not known archaeologically. So in our research in Singida, you see we conducted our research in Ikungi district. Ikungi is found in Singida rural, which is one of the district in the region. And we started this research, a pilot study in July, from July to September 2020 with 41 University of Dar es Salaam undergraduate students. These students were undertaking their field practicum in archaeology and I was supervising them. So by then we found more than 10 archaeological sites ranging from Middle Stone Age to Late Stone Age and also Iron Age materials. We discovered a lot of stone tools from the Kungi open air site. And one of the important sites was the Tamuka site, which was, this is a rock shelter that we discovered that year. The rock shelter had painted art, hunter-foragers red paintings. And also when we were digging under this rock shelter, we were able to discover a lot of human and animal remains. We made four trenches, where we discovered a lot of stone tools, human remains, iron age materials, and these trenches were we dug three under the open air site and one at the rock shelter site. Next slide. Again, in the year 2023 fieldwork, again with the University of Dar es Salaam students, we excavated two trenches, two sites, whereby we discovered a lot of lithics of early Stone Age, Middle Stone Age, and later Stone Age tools. Also, we excavated more than 60 animal bones, but also discovered more than 65 rock painting sites. We also discovered 6 rock engraving sites, and while digging, we also recovered some ostrich eggshell beads. The total number was 12. Next slide. So in that year, we were able to produce a map of the newly discovered archaeological site of Central Tanzania. And this was the first time that we also discovered human remains, which were uh, not discovered before in this area of Central Tanzania. We discovered more than 10 individuals from archaeological trenches. We also produce a map of all the sites we discovered. We can see now, you can see the map of Singida, the area where we dug, and the site that we discovered during those 2 years of archaeological research in the region. This site were discovered for the first time, and they were not known by archaeologists before, but were known by the local community who were living and roaming around the site. Next slide. Next slide, please. Nkungi site. This shows the area where we studied. Nkungi site had faded rock paintings, the red hunter-forager arts, but also a lot of scatter of archaeological material across the landscape. In this area, we excavated the 2 trenches. We found a lot of human remains, 1 skeletons of human remains, and dozen of stone tools. Next, in this Nkungi, the trench, you can see Nkungi Trench 2. That's a Nkungi Trench number 2. You can find the scar of human at the left side. At the right side, you can find the mandible and the maxillary teeth of individuals that were buried together in association with stone tools. And we took these materials. Now we have dates, radiocarbon dates. We performed the carbon 14 dating in Max Planck, German. I will talk about that later in the next slide. Next. This also Kungi 23. We recovered a lot of lithic materials and ostrich eggshells. Next. We also found ochre grinding stones in association with the human remains, the skull, the teeth, and the maxillary bones, the same trench. A lot of ostrich eggshell beads, lithics, and animal bones as well. Next, these were the flakes that we found in association with those human remains, human bones. Next, and this also were the lithics that we recovered from the same trench. Next. This is an interesting story from Itamuka rock shelter that I showed earlier. The very interesting story about this rock shelter is the first time we went there with the students to study the rock art, we found a big hole that dug by treasure hunters. And there is a myth in Tanzania that the hunter-foragers rock art, especially the rock paintings, that people think were made by German colonialists to mark the areas where they did hide their minerals or precious gems, or they say ancient rupees. And they said after the First World War, when the Germans were defeated by British, so they went to hide the possessions or the belongings or the precious metals or gems. So there are huge hole dug by treasure hunters. So the next year, when I took my student there to teach them about the rock art, rock paintings, so the villagers saw us. So before even the night when I arrived in the village, before going to the site, they went to dig again. So they dig a very, very big hole. So when I went with the student, I saw the fresh hole dug by these treasure hunters, the villagers. Then when I stepped inside this big hole, I came up with several bones, human bones that were exposed by these treasure hunters. Then I just took a trowel. I decided to scratch the wall of the painting. Then I come up with a rib of a human. So I tried like digging a little bit, expose the teeth of humans. This is the scar that we discovered because of the illicit work that was done by treasure hunters, whereby they thought they were looking for precious metals. Then they exposed this. So we had no choice. We decided to dig. I have a brief discussion with my student, either to go back to the field, to the site, to get the proper dig equipment, or we use the local tools that we had so that we can rescue. My worry was if we go back to the camp, which was very far from that site, the village, my worry was the villagers might come back and try to dig again. Because whenever they saw us, they think, because they see us with the machete, with the trowels, with the sieves, they think that we are looking for minerals. That's why since then I started doing a intensive community outreach, community engagement workshop in order to remove this myth of rupees or pressure that were hidden by German. Next slide. Uh, so this is the same trenchy you see. With my student, we are trying to take a picture to record before we remove the scar. This is the trench you see is not looking professional. It's not looking good because we are dug by treasure hunters they were looking for precious minerals. The myth that they think those minerals were hidden by Germans, and the rock painting, the art, they think we are the markers or the beacons that were made by Germans to locate the secret places that their materials were hidden. That's the big myth. And nowadays, we are digging in Singida with the local community, wherever we go, with the elders, village officials, in order to remove this myth of German minerals. Next. And next picture is me holding the scar of a human after we remove it from that trench. Next. The same scar after cleaning and also sorting, and we took good pictures of that. And the story of dating will come after this slide. Next. Apart from human remains, we also discovered the rock gongs in the nearby villages, our village. These gongs were used by ancient people as a source of traditional music instrument. They used to play them, they produce beautiful sound that sound like drums or music. Next. We also, at the nearby village, we found a lot of cupels. The rocks that were engraved by ancient people, and we are also trying to do ethnographic inquiries so as to know about the meaning. Next. So last year I took this fauna remains, the teeth to German Max Planck, because I'm associated researcher of the Max Planck Institute in Jena, German, to do the radiocarbon dating. So we extracted collagen from the bones, and this scar produce the age of 5,000 BP. So we presume the art that is depicted or painted to that rock shelter could be contemporaneous to the age that we got from uh, carbon 14 dating. The other open air site, the Nkungi, the trench that we dug, I showed with the students, also showed us the age of 1,000 before present. All of them were participated in the extraction of the collagen in Max Planck. Next. Here is a picture of me in German extracting collagen from bones for next. So this is car had a big hole at the frontal part of the parietal bone. So we don't know about this. You see the face as also like kind of trauma. What we don't know, this is caused maybe by termites or any other post deposition um, impact or any other trauma that we don't know yet. Next slide. Again, what was surprising me, I don't know yet, the canine teeth had holes. No, the scissors. The holes at the middle of the teeth that we don't know, maybe they were used because this were the hunter-foragers. Maybe they were using their teeth maybe to make the bow and the arrows or to process plant food. But because me, I was born in this region, I'm from Singida, so I remember I lived. One of the reasons that I went to do research in this area is because when I go to university, my teacher was teaching me about the rock art and the rock shelters. So when I saw that, I remembered me and my grandfather, we used to be hunter-gatherers and we used to hunt and sleep overnight at these rock shelters. So I knew these rock shelters before even I went to school. So one of the interesting stories that I went to Singida because I had that memory. He said, no, I'm sure we're going to find the rock art because I have a very small memory. But interesting that we used to make arrows, like to make arrow, to put in the feathers. We used to use our teeth to process the threads for the arrows. So we sometimes we use our teeth. So I suspect my theory is that these guys were using their teeth to process plant materials. That's why you see the hole. That is my speculation, my opinion, my hypothesis, but I'm not sure. I'm saying that because I'm hunter foragers and we used to use our teeth in multiple ways, many functions, like knives, like whatever, to cut roots, sometimes to crack the nuts and other hard fruits. Next. But also in this Tamuka rock shelter, we found a lot of human bones. But these human bones were broken by holes by these guys where we are looking for treasure hunters with a myth of finding the games hidden by German, which is not true. Next. Also, at the Kungi site, we found a lot of human teeth that I took to German for radiocarbon dating. But these bones were highly altered because on top of these trenches from level 0 to 40, there was a furnace. So the soil is burnt. We found a lot of iron slag and the potty shed. So the guys were also iron smelters. So these bones probably were affected by the high temperatures from the smelting. That's where highly altered materials, bone materials. Next. Um, this also from the nearby site. We found a lot of bones. So initial analysis show that we found a lot. These teeth belong to canids, but also that related to animals like domesticated animals, probably cows. The big question is how domestication started in that area. That's how we are trying. The title of this talk is we want to know exactly when domestication of animals started in this area because we don't know yet. When these hunter-foragers who made the rock art in this rock shelter uh, transformed themselves from active hunting and gathering to the so-called agropastoralism. So we are trying to work on that. We have a lot of bones still under analysis. We want to know how long, when this guys, the hunter-forager, transformed or changed the mode of subsistence from hunting and gathering to food production. Next, another site in this area with a lot of bones is called the Misimba Rock Shelter. Uh, this also contains the red painting, hunter forager rock art, but also we found a lot of ostrich eggshells, but most of them were fragments, bovids teeth, and mandibular bones of equids. But also we found a lot of bone that are still under analysis. So this is an ongoing research, as I've said. We don't have complete data set yet that I can be able to speak about something which is very, very tangible. Next. So since last year, we have formed or created the research project called the Singida Heritage and Archaeological Research Project, SHARP, which was supported by Gerda Henkel Foundation of German. So since last year and this year, we were able to do research continuously. We were able to discover the thing that we didn't think before. Initially, I said I wanted to explore or to understand the factors or the reason for this hunter forages, the people who made rock paintings, to shift their mode of subsistence from hunting and gathering for the production, but also available data from Singida area. We are showing that this area contains rock art, rock painting, and the later Stone Age materials and the Iron Age material. Nobody thought that this area contained Middle Stone Age and the early Stone Age materials. So, while doing an intensive archaeological survey, and the extensive reconnaissance survey as well, we were able to locate also many early Stone Age and the Middle Stone Age site that could be contemporary to Old Vai Gorge and similar uh, early Stone Age in both in northern Tanzania and southern Tanzania. Next. With the SHARP is a friend inside the community-oriented research project, which recognizing archaeology as a practice intertwined with the fabric of social-cultural relations. African scholars, general like myself, we lack direct funding, and we are still unlikely to obtain grants from external funders. Therefore, we are still work with the little support or resources that we have. And we are in this study also, we wanted to demonstrate that we can change not only where archaeology is done in Africa, but also we are trying to change how project design could be, especially stakeholders engagement and the knowledge mobilization. In this SHARP project, we are also working with the elders from Singida region in several villages. We're also working with the women so that we can eat. We're also working in both way. After field work, we also plan for the future research with them. It's not only taking them as laborers, we also plan the research methods, how we could do data gathering together next year, how we're going to collect the data, how we're going to analyze data. So now we have formed this community oriented research project that we made them part and the parcel of project. But also not only that, we're also trying to publish, to co-publish together so that we can make them feel actually not your laborers or respondents for interview, but also active project members. Next slide, please. Unfortunately, most research in the country for many decades has focused on the Rift Valley and the Olduvai or Laitol or along the coast. Central Tanzania has been completely discarded in understanding human, cultural, and biological change until really recently. Unlike the well-documented northern Tanzania and Kenya regions, very little is known about this region, especially on the transition from hunting foraging lifestyles to animal and crop domestication. Our project is currently changing and expanding horizon into and research regions and by co-designing and devising grassroots project with the local community from the area because these are the real traditional landowners. Our initial collaboration in designing and eventually conducting joint research project has changed the prolonged held culture of foreign-led research that excluded the ideas of local community in a core design research project of this nature. Next slide. This trend prevailed for so long because Africans lack funding, and the people who don't have extensive archaeological research experience are unlikely to obtain grants from external funders. We are here again to show that Africans are doing incredible work with the little support or resources that they have. Our project seeks to change this historical trend as we are trying to fill this geographic gap. This type of research design subscribing to local community ideas is of paramount significance to Eastern African Stone Age archaeology. In this speech, I am trying to tie our Singida into greater Eastern African anthropological literature for archaeological screening angle because our data show that early Stone Age and Middle Stone Age Singida is contemporary. It is standing now. It is too isolated, and we are trying to make it meaningful for wider archaeological scholarship. Not hunting and foraging subsistence mode anymore this nowadays. That's why we are trying to underscore the factor for this sudden change. Next slide. So this photo is was taken this year in September. You can see the area is very dry because of agropastoralism, deforestation, which both have caused land degradation and the loss of vegetation cover. The area is very dry and likely. Uh, when I was young, the area used to be heavily vegetated, and we used to hunt with my grandfather a variety of wild animals. But currently, it's very hard to see even the dig. Next slide. So, one of the interesting things is like now we bought this local people smartphone. Now they able to even to discover the site themselves. Whenever they discover the site, they call us. We send them airtimes. Now they use WhatsApp. They can take pictures. They know how take GPS coordinate, they can send us the picture of the site, the picture of the rock paintings, the picture of the stone tools, they can share with us. So now easy, whenever we go for field work, we don't have to put more time or energy looking for the site or to discover, because these guys are very, very helpful to us nowadays because of the evolution of mobile phone, using WhatsApp. We have created WhatsApp groups. We can share ideas, and also they can send the pictures of the things that they discover in their or around their vicinities. Next. So last year, working with international collaborators, this was 22, where we were able to discover 47 rock painting sites. And most of the sites, we were informed by the local collaborators, the villages, especially the village chief from Siu village in the Singida region. Next. Okay, now we are trying to do digitization of the rock art using distress in order to enhance the view of those painting that are faded. Now you can see the painting that we discovered. Hunter-foragers rock art tradition, dusk red friezes, and the Bantu speaker that both are found in Kungi district of the Singida region. Most of the site we discovered in the year 2022, but also last year we discovered more than 15 sites. And this year also we discovered more than 17 sites. In total, we have more than 77 sites, ranging from Stone Age site, Middle Stone Age, later Stone Age, to Iron Age site from the same region, the Singida region, central Tanzania. Next. So after all of this that we have discovered within the time frame of 3 years, so where do we go from here? With little funding, very few equipment and resources. So where do we go? Next. We did this year, we did a more rock art survey and the documentation. So we were doing digital documentation, taking pictures, GPS coordinates, but also we had a D-stretch app that we were able to enhance and redraw the painting so that we can make sure that we salvage all the endangered rock art site or the painting due to the activity of the looters and treasure hunters. This year, we were able to dig at Isanga early Stone Age site, whereby we discovered the cultural chronology materials uh, from early Stone Age period to later Stone Age site. This early Stone Age and Middle Stone Age were discovered for the first time in this region during our archaeological excavation in Singida region. We didn't think that we were going to find Acheulean, for example, industry in the Singida region, but we were able to find it. We were lucky. Next. This is Isanga site. This is a gully with exposed, with a lot of dense scatter of early Stone Age lithics. We found tons and tons of stone tools, but unfortunately, we didn't find uh, any more or human bones yet. Next. So now we are devising the following. We want to do a cross-disciplinary research that will be specializing in phytolith analysis, stable isotopes, bone taphonomy, and the archaeology analysis. Some of the data that I collected in February this year, I took them to France, whereby uh, uh, I performed the phytolith analysis at Zurich and SNRS Marseille University. We want to embark on joint archaeological work so as to capture an integrated ecosystem signal of the past environment, climate dynamics surrounding human settlement across the region. And the reasons, we want to underscore the reason for hunter-forager transition from the mode of subsistence to agriculture and animal keeping. Next. We also want to reconstruct ancient environment or environmental history of the site based on analysis of the lithostratigraphic order, radiocarbon date, sediment, and phytoliths proxies, and obtaining multi-proxy data that will offer vital inference regarding trends in climatic change from the Pleistocene period to Holocene period, also from Holocene to modern times. Next. We also took modern soil samples, which could act as a control sample for paleoenvironmental reconstruction. I did the analysis for phytoliths, and the result will be coming soon. Next. This is the area where we collected modern sample in Singida, soil samples and their coordinates. We collected a sample for phytolith analysis. We also collected from Kungi site, the site that next slide, the site that we discovered early Stone Age materials, stone tools. We also collected this modern samples and ancient sediment for paleo reconstruction. We also collected the samples next from modern plants at the nearby site so that we can understand, we can get contemporary data for phytolith from the same site. And the result of phytolith analysis will be coming soon, but I will show some few phytolith that we discovered from both modern site and from ancient sediment from this site. Next slide. We also collected the samples for paleo reconstruction from the wooded areas and from the farmlands so that we can see the differences and ancient snapshot. But also, next slide, we tried to collect it from the farmland during the rainy season, the dry season from the same site, so that we can see the similarities and the differences in terms of phytolith preservation and reproduction. Next. This is the picture of the Kungi site. On the left is the trench that we dug, and showing the location where you can see the line of stones, and below the lines where we recovered human remains and a lot of stone tools. But also on your right is the location of the site during the rainy season. This is in Kungi site, the site that I said we discovered human remains, Homo sapiens, which produced carbon 14 dates of 1000 before present. That is Kungi site. Next. Last year, I received a MOPGA. This is Make Our Planet Great Again scholarship to go to France at Aix-Marseille University, SNRS, to do lab analysis whereby I took samples from the site for paleoenvironmental reconstruction. Especially, I was doing phytolith analysis, and I have finished the analysis. We are now in the process of writing a paper, and the result I said will be coming soon, and cannot be discussed in this talk because in the process of analysis not completed yet, but at least we have some snapshot that I will share with you in this talk. Next, this is the same site where we took phytoliths samples, the Kungi. Next, the aim of taking these sediment samples from this site is also we want to reconstruct the palaeoecological context where these early humans lived. We want to do analysis samples from phytolith, stable isotopes, plant wax biomarkers to complement site and stone tool studies. Our goal is to better understand the historical trend related to ancient mosaic habitats and the role that climate and environment drivers had on shaping human cultural and technological adaptation to the arid environment of Singida during the Pleistocene Holocene periods. Preliminary result from our excavation also now, but also the result that we are expecting will help us to link the Eastern African Stone Age archaeology to the southern part of the region, significantly influencing the study of human evolution in this area. The spread of early Stone Age tool types to central Tanzania suggests human adaptability to changing environment and habitat. Next. This is the trench we excavated this year in Isanga area, the site that we said we discovered early Stone Age materials for the first time in the region. And I said we took sediment samples from this site in order to reconstruct ancient environment and climates. Most of this we wanted to get the phytolith and the pollen from this site. So the preliminary, next slide, the preliminary data phytolith from this site show that during the Pleistocene period to Holocene, the area was wooded, and a lot of phytolith representing the wet environments uh, were recovered. We covered a lot of phytoliths which are indicative of wetland environment, and also a lot of phytoliths that showed arboreal environment. So it seems that this site was located nearby riverine environments, and more phytolith study will confirm our hypothesis. So this area, the early stone site, show the signatures of wooded grassland, wetland, and spring during the Holocene period. The available environmental niches that would have attracted hunter-foragers settlement during this time. These were niches. Modern environments show intensive and drastic acidification in contrast to the Holocene times. So the area now is very dry, but the phytoliths that we are recovering showing us that the area was wooded and had a lot of wetlands. We also note the evidence of ancient fire regimes from the dark or burnt phytolith. Next. Uh, One of the challenges we want to talk about our research is vandalism, I said, but also another one which is becoming prominent is stone quarrying. Because of growing of Singida town and the nearby towns, satellite township, there is a growing demand of stone for concrete and house construction. So the local people are collecting these stone tools, they are cracking them to make concrete to sell to the businessmen from Singida town. This is a business which is cheap because doesn't require huge investment or capital from the local community. So they are just coming, collecting, cracking the stones, and doing business. So I also uh, community outreach campaigns, we are trying also to fight this problem of stone quarrying and vandalism of archaeological sites. Next, another problem is vandalism and looting. You see, the right is human bones exposed by the treasure hunters with the myth of looking the treasures hidden by Germans. And the other one, the stone quarries by the people want to make it concrete so that they can sell to the businessmen from Singida town. These are the major threats. Next. Again, you see the stones, the quarrying around the archaeological site. People are cracking the stone tools to make it concrete so that they can sell to the people who are constructing their domestic houses in the Singida region. Next, and also you see the galley, the Isanga, the site whereby we discovered the early Stone Age site, but most of the surface materials are being collected by these guys who are doing stone quarrying so that they can sell to the businessmen in the Singida region. Next. So this year we had four community engagement programs whereby we invited the Vice Chancellor from the University of Dar es Salaam, Professor William Anangisi. Here, the first picture, three of us, me, the village chairman, and him, we are talking about how we can wage community outreach program to stop these illicit problems. But also on the right, the village elder talking to the University of Dar es Salaam student, my student, on the same problem and how we can work jointly to fight this problem of vandalism of archaeological site. Below are undergraduate students from University of Dar es Salaam talking to students and villagers and kids from the Siu village on the importance and the significance of our heritage protection. Below, on our right, is the Director of Antiquities, Dr. Christopher Jantando, also visited us, was talking to my students and the villagers again during the community engagement workshop on the importance of conserving these materials and fighting this myth of German treasures. Next. We also had visitors from Dar es Salaam, from the ministry, from the Singida region. Regional commissioner also came, and foreign researchers that we jointly uh, worked and addressing this critical problem in order to safeguard and salvage the archaeological site from total disappearance. Next. We also invited this picture, so the media people from National Broadcasting Corporation, TBC, they also came, they made coverage, they aired on the national TV to make the Tanzanian, the general public aware about the importance and the significance of conserving the archaeological site of the region. Next. Also, apart from this rock art conservation program and documentation, I said we also have planned to do paleo reconstruction to the site that produce both stone tools and the rock paintings. Next. Next is the conclusions. What I can say is Singida site are embedded in a varied landscape that in itself represent a geoheritage to be preserved. Sadly, the surge of vandalism and looting, illegal quarrying, have led to irreversible damage to the landscape and the archaeological site enveloped by these practices. In unraveling early human ancestry in this area, our new research emphasizes the importance of engagement of traditional landowners, which are local people, to ensure the sustainability of the site. Our project, SHARP, Conservation Project, is presently under the lead of the local village leaders. Already launched community outreach and knowledge mobilization from the very beginning of project design. But also, this research has started to scrutinize the behavior of non-involvement of local community in archaeological research. We have decided to make it a priority to connect with the locals from the start of the project, mainly because I grew up in the region and have deeper connection with them. Next. Uh, uh, I was able to do the research because of the collaboration with uh, collaborators and funders. I was funded by Geta Henkel Foundation to do research, but the University of Dar es Salaam started before anybody funded me. After university, that we were able to discover the site. After that, then I was able to get several grants from OPGA, from Max Planck, and the African Humanitarian Postdoctoral Fellowship. Both of them helped me to do my research in the Singida region. So I was working with local people, but also with the kids from that area who came to work with us. Also, we believe these are the archaeologists of tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening. This is the end of my talk.
Thank you so much, Makarius.
Questions? Welcome for questions. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much for your presentation. We can now begin the question and answer section. The question and answer section will be opened to voice questions as well as written questions. If you would like to ask a question, just raise your hand in the nonverbal controls present underneath the participant panel, and I will send you a request to unmute. If you prefer to ask a written question, that is also still possible. You can do so using the Zoom chat module, and I will read out the question. Please remember that the webinars are recorded so that if you ask a question, this will be part of the recording and will be released on the YouTube channel. It looks like there's a question in the chat from Hope Morgan, so I'll read that out for you. Thank you for this nice presentation. I am curious whether the geography or environment of Singida is unusual in some way for finding archaeological evidence, for example, because of its rock outcroppings with rock art that indicates fruitful areas to explore, or maybe because human remains could be preserved there because of the soil, or are there many other areas in the mainland of Tanzania that are potential good sites but have been overlooked?
Okay. Okay, thank you. A very good question. I think one of the factor is I think is a colonial legacy because after the discovery of the coastal monuments and the human fossil remains in the Arusha region, especially the Oduvai region. So most of the local researchers followed the footprints of the pioneers of archaeology. So most of the research expedition in Tanzania were focused either to the coastal monuments or to the fossil remains in northern Tanzania. Only very few research, like two or three, were directed in Kondoa region to study the rock art. So Singida, one of the factor, of course, is not so much different from the Dodoma, Iringa, in terms of granites outcrops, which are more similar. It's not also hard to find the rock art, but I think the interest of the researchers were also to do research to the more known and famous sites, popular ones, and other sites remains marginalized. I think because if you go to the site that has no publications, like I said earlier, is the chance of getting funding is also minimal. Because when I started, and I didn't have any funding. I have also very small bursary from the University of Dar es Salaam to train students to undertake their field practicals. Then after this discovery, I attended this like 10 or 15 international talks. Then people will say, oh, there is archaeology in Singida. Then after that, I applied the grant. I tried to publish. I cite also my publications. So they say, oh, there is something missing here. So I think many reasons was also that people were just following the more popular, already known sites. Yeah.
Bonnie?
And any other, if you are not satisfied, I'm more than happy to welcome another question from you.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say thank you, and it's clearly a huge amount of research and a lot of work, and I see that, and I see your passion for it, and it's exciting, and
Thank
it
you.
is it's
Thank
very
you.
frustrating with funding that the curiosity isn't there until you've shown some reason to get people interested in the funding. But you've
Right.
created this legacy for archaeologists in Tanzania moving on into the future, that
Right.
obviously I wish you all the funding in the world. This obviously should be
Thank you.
funded. Also, I was thinking it's something like a marathon, but then I thought, no, this work isn't like a marathon. It's more like an Ironman competition. You have to be
Yeah.
skilled in many different areas, not just the community
Mm,
outreach, which is obviously so important, but the
yes.
analysis, the international
Mm,
collaborations,
collaboration,
and
yes.
the teamwork that you have to
The
have.
team, the team, the team. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that takes a special person, and so, just
Right.
thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you so much.
There's a question from Andrew in the chat. What
Okay.
are some of the changes in how your archaeology projects operate now that you are involving the local communities in a meaningful way? For example, have the sites you focus on changed? Have the methods you employ changed or adapted? Have the kinds of research outputs you've produced changed?
Thank you. That is a very, very good questions, relevant to what we are doing. I have because I decided to work with the local communities, uh, with the elders in the village. Like the village chairman is our key informant, but also we go to dig or to do survey with him. So now they're able to in like 5 or 7 villages now they are aware they've stopped digging for the so-called the uh, hidden German treasures. Now they know actually these are the painting that were made by our ancestors, not by Germans. And now this year we had a meeting workshop. The elders called for fencing of the site. Now I'm looking for the money to protect the site through fencing to prevent especially it's easy to prevent the treasure hunters because they need the education to understand the stop. I saw the most difficult people to stop with the stone quarry because the demand is so huge and they make quick money, good money and quick money. So they said we need to fence the site in collaboration, of course, with the antiquities and the ministry. So that is number one. Number two, 2 weeks ago, the director of antiquities sent a team of 5 people to visit the site to assess them so that they can gazette them and declare them as a national heritage site to be protected by the antiquities laws. Because currently we are talking, they are not protected because they were not known. You cannot protect something that you don't know. After my publication, the community engagement, but also I said we aired them on national television, so everybody almost know that Singida now contain a rock art similar to the Kondoa, which is a UNESCO where the heritage site. But also now they know that we have truly an early Stone Age site, which is contemporaneous or similar to Olduvai goat, which is very popular in the country, and is similar in the northern Tanzania highland. Those are the two major things I can say have been a quick success.
There's an additional question from Hope in the chat. For the wear on the lower front teeth of the Stone Age skull, I missed something. Were you focusing on the space between the two front teeth or the pits in the top of each tooth or both? So I think her
This one?
question, yeah, was
Okay,
about this
good.
skull and whether you were looking.
You say yes, two holes. This in this front teeth. Yeah, what I said I don't know yet, so I need an expert in maybe taphonomy, zooarchaeology, fauna analysis to tell me. But for me, I was raised as a hunter-forager. We use our front teeth to make the thread for tightening the arrowhead and for tightening the feathers to the arrow. So, but also sometimes when you want to crack some, not to crack, to eat tubers, we use them. But also if you want maybe to crack some of the wood materials, we can use our teeth. We use them as scissors sometimes. So I don't know because of the overusing of it, but you are free to also advise me. I don't have answers yet. That is my assumption from my experience as being a hunter forager, because we used to use our teeth a lot in a variety of issues. Maybe I'm more than welcome to get a new insight from you guys. We don't have answers yet.
I wonder if there was something being held in the teeth, something. No,
In
I'm not just
paleopathology,
worked on,
maybe.
but something being held under the two front teeth that was then being worked on or stretched. But yeah, that
Yeah,
pitting, that seems
yeah,
hard to
could
explain.
be also, or paleopathology, maybe. Could be something. Oh,
But Hope's question about whether the diastema, the space between the
diastema.
front teeth, is that possibly due to working with with something, or is that
It could
perhaps?
be yes, could be yes, could be not, but I don't know. One of interesting story that when we recovered it from the trains, my students were laughing. Oh, it has diastema, so beautiful.
I,
But
I
I
was I
don't
was
know.
admiring the teeth as well. I have terrible teeth.
I don't know.
But I wonder if the holes
Yes.
were made intentionally, so that
Could
another.
be, maybe, who knows? Maybe it was the sign of beauty. Maybe or to be handsome, to attract, maybe, or who knows? Maybe for them was a sign of beauty. Mhm. Or handsomeness, beautifulness. Yeah, could be also aesthetic purposes, as Morgan suggested. I agree, could be. But also we need to do ethnographic inquiry because nearby the region we have the modern hunter foragers, the Sandawe. So this is maybe the when I go back to Singida next year, maybe in February, I need to conduct an ethnographic study among the modern hunter foragers. I will be showing them the teeth, maybe comparing with the ears, or asking them some questions. That will help me to get maybe an answer. Maybe I will find a hunter forager with similar holes in his or her teeth.
I have
Yeah,
another question, Makarius. Is there
good, good, good.
is there a type of analysis that you would like to do that you don't yet have a partner to help do it? I mean, should we use our social network and see if there are other researchers we may know who have?
Yeah, many, because this is a new research project. Maybe you send me your email address after this talk.
Yeah, I just
We
spent a month
exchange.
at CBU
Mm.
in Portugal, which is
Yeah,
center
CBO.
of an yeah of but
Mm.
yeah. So I think I just wonder if there might not be somebody there either doing
Yeah,
DNA
maybe.
research or some other type of research that.
Yes. Yeah. We maybe think we exchange emails.
Okay, here.
Could you send me yours, and then I will write after the
That's
talk.
me.
We
I'm just a
use,
linguist, but
but we can find partners. Yeah, Sand, I saw it. Thank you. I will email you after this.
I think maybe I'll wrap up the recording, but then I can leave the room open if people would like to continue to chat.
Yes.
So
Okay.
let me just do the conclusion.
Okay.
Thank you. I think those are all of the
Okay.
questions and comments for today. I'd like to take
Thank
this
you so
opportunity.
much.
I'd like to take this opportunity to remind everyone that recordings of all of the presentations in the Rift Valley webinar series can be found on the Rift Valley Network YouTube page, and entries for each presentation are added to the Rift Valley bibliography. I would like to thank Makarius again for his presentation and everyone else for participating today. We'll have a short break for the new year, but I hope to see you again at our next webinar by Ahmed Sosal on Wednesday, the 22nd of January.